Hello, beloveds. Welcome to the Amanda Collins podcast. It's my honor to help you awaken to joy, be your greatest self, and live a life you love. I'm Amanda Collins. Each week, I'll share tips, practices, and rituals to help you feel the storehouse of joy inside. I'll answer your questions and talk with thought leaders from around the world about health, wealth, love, conscious living, and parenting. Are you ready to live your most fulfilled life? Welcome to episode 58, The Triple Goddess. I am so excited for you to listen to this podcast. During the interview, Syma will talk about the ways to awaken your inner goddess, to remember her, to reconnect with her, different ways to increase feminine energy, and learn all about the triple goddess, the maiden, the mother, and the crone. And then to end it will be a beautiful meditation journey to access your own inner triple goddess. Looking forward to sharing. Thank you for this beautiful review, a total joy in the world that needs more love. I look forward to each and every episode, as Amanda is such a beautiful and magical being who lives and breathes magic and the divine expression of life and love. Thank you, Anya, for this glowing review. Syma Kharal is an international sacred feminine and spiritual coach, healer, speaker, and #1 Amazon best-selling author of Goddess Reclaimed and Manifest Soulmate Love. She holds an honors degree with distinction in psychology and a certificate in counseling from the University of Toronto, and is a certified Reiki master, yoga and meditation teacher, spirit guide, and Akashic Records coach. She is dedicated to empowering soulful women heal their deepest wounds, manifest their boldest dreams, and flourish in every way. Syma immersed herself in the healing arts at the age of 14 to overcome the deeply damaging effects of extensive abuse and trauma. In addition to healing herself, her intensive spiritual work led her to co-create a life she never dreamed possible, leaving a toxic corporate career to follow her calling, manifesting and marrying her soulmate, transforming women's lives through her heart's work, and traveling the world with her beloved husband. She loves nothing more than supporting fellow sisters to do the same, to transcend disempowering patterns, reclaim their feminine power, and step fully into the goddess they truly are. Hello, beloveds. I am so honored and delighted to introduce our incredible guest today, Syma, Goddess Syma. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, Amanda.
Well, I would love to just flow in a beautiful goddess way to just what called you upon to do this work of the goddess and to share your wisdom in this way.
I first and foremost needed to connect with the goddess for my healing. It was a lifesaver in so many ways for me. So my background is Pakistani, Indian, Muslim, and I was raised in a very religious household, and very similar to a lot of my clients and the women in my sisterhood who have very strict religious backgrounds. So there wasn't much room for the divine feminine. It was a very strict, I would say, patriarchal and in fact oppressive to the feminine environment and culture. And then on top of that, unfortunately, there was a lot of abuse and trauma in my family. So I had experienced physical abuse from my parents. And when I was a child, from the age of 7 to 11, which are the prime years when the sacral chakra is developing, we went to Pakistan. I was born and raised in Toronto, but we were there for those 4 years. And in those 4 years, I experienced a lot of sexual abuse and from several men. And on top of that, I was beaten for it
Oh my gosh.
when my father found out that someone was molesting me. So, and then on top of that, I thought I was going to hell because, I was a bad girl, right? So just as you can imagine, riddled with guilt, shame, trauma, already feeling like with religious stuff that you have to hide your body. And, my yoni was referred to as your shame.
Wow.
So that was a word for your vagina, your yoni, which is, like one of the great gifts of connecting to the goddess path was learning the yoni, that it's a sacred abode. It's a temple. It's a sanctuary. It's a portal for bliss and fertility and life. And so the goddess brought me this healing on my journey when I had to really heal from PTSD in my teens, and sort of another resurgence during my Saturn return in my mid-late 20s. So I had two major bouts of depression, both basically as a result of unhealed trauma. And spiritual healing was very helpful. I was also very blessed to have, counseling in high school, but I felt like they only took me so far, especially when it came to healing my womb and the wounds around self-worth, my power, receptivity, guilt, shame, and of course, self-love. And when I learned about these goddesses, the Aphrodite, who is born nude and unapologetic and empowered as the essence of love and sexuality and sensuality and beauty, or Oshun from Nigeria and Hathor from Egypt, and just some of these goddesses around sacred sexuality and beauty and self-love, they were very, very invaluable to me in helping me to release all that shame and learn to honor and love my body, which actually healed menstrual issues that I had, a lot of blockages around the sacral chakra, cramping and very heavy periods in my teens. And then there are goddesses like Kali Ma, Sekhmet, Athena, these warrior type goddesses who gave me strength when I actually had to take a huge stand for some very basic things. So we'd return to Canada and I had to fight for everything from ending the cycle of abuse to sometimes literally, intervening myself physically. Had to fight to not be forced into an arranged marriage when I was 7. My father was trying to get me engaged. And I had to fight to go to school. So everything was a fight. And this is where the warrior goddesses gave me the strength where even if I was at the risk of being disowned, and a couple of times I was, that I had to hold my ground. And then there were goddesses like Kuan Yin, Mother Mary, these goddesses of compassion and grace and forgiveness who empowered me, or actually really supported me to heal through forgiveness, but not before. Some other goddesses like Pele, the Hawaiian goddess, or Sekhmet again, really helped me to honor my sacred rage. Right. So it was a process and it was a dance because it wasn't linear. And that was the other learning about the sacred feminine. Learning about the triple goddess really helped me to then find this flourishing in my life where I really embodied the feminine in my cyclical nature. It healed my period to the point where I look forward to it. And it's my most cherished time, a very cherished time of my cycle. Yeah. So, honestly, in just so many ways, on so many levels, it healed me, it transformed me, it empowered me, it helped me to go from a victim, and victim consciousness, to being empowered, having self-love. And as a result of that healing, how that showed up in my life, right, with friendships or relationships or lack, struggle, jobs I hated too. Having my beloved husband, we're going on our 11th year this year.
Oh, congratulations.
Just thank you so much. But even this morning, I couldn't stop laughing at a little joke he made, and we can't stop hugging and kissing and loving and supporting each other, and like the blissful marriage, so much abundance, doing what I love, healed relationships with my whole family, seeing my parents evolve so much, and take a lot of responsibility and become very, very open. And it's just changed my life in so many ways that it would be a disservice to not share the teaching.
Yeah. And I just
fellow
wanna,
sisters.
yeah, but I just want to applaud you and thank you for like doing the work and moving through. And, it's like, it really is first about our inner work. And then like you're sharing this with the world and creating this unbelievable ripple effect and empowering women and showing that we can shift that. And I love that you did this through channeling these goddesses and embodying that energy that they are. So thank you for this amazing work that you do.
Oh, thank you so much. And I can't not do it because like I said, it's just so powerful, and it's such an element that's been missing, I feel, in I've majored in psychology. Like I have a degree in psychology, and I've done a lot of spiritual work, and I respect a lot of the spiritual teaching, but I feel like the goddess was missing, and that's why I'm so committed to sharing about the goddesses, and making it as accessible to everyone, not just women, but also our brothers as well. So I'm very blessed and honored to share their teachings.
Well, thank you from the bottom of my heart, and from just women all over the world,
Oh.
Yeah, thank you. And so I would love to dive in because all these goddesses, just I love and Kwan, yes,
I know.
and the Kali, and you're talking about Kali and the empowerment, because in Ireland here we have, it's kind of our version of Kali. She's called the Kaliak. I don't know if you've ever heard of her. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Oh yes.
So it's that fierce, crone energy as well. But I would love to just flow into triple goddess energy. So when you say that, what does that mean?
So the triple goddess is this very powerful ancient archetype of the divine feminine, and it's often called the maiden, the mother, and the crone. This is more her Celtic, European names that are given. And in different traditions, she shows up in different ways. In Hinduism, it's not so much maiden, mother, crone. It's maybe, Lakshmi, Parvati, Saraswati. They also have Durga and Kali. So the triple goddess, really, if we look at the moon, that's one of the greatest ways to understand her energy, as well as the earth. So the feminine has, in many traditions, been associated with nature and natural cycles. And when we look at the phases of the moon and the seasons of the earth, womb men, which is us, and the goddess was revered through her cyclical nature. The new moon was the energy connected to the maiden, as is spring. So this is, it's age-wise, it might be, adolescent, in our 20s, but we all have this maiden energy no matter what our age, right? And what this is the energy of fertility, excitement, pleasure, beauty, joy, inspiration, focus, energy, vitality, playtime. And she's been represented by goddesses like Persephone in Greece, who is both the maiden of spring, but also the goddess of the underworld in the fall and winter.
Mm-hmm.
She's just spring. If you think of spring, if she could sort of be embodied in a goddess form, that would be the maiden. But she's also the virgin. So Artemis, for example, is the huntress. And so she's about our ability to focus our intentions. So the new moon energy, the maiden energy, spring energy is all about new beginnings, right? Setting new intentions, planting the seeds of our dreams in the fertile ground of new moon and spring energy. And we're just in a new moon right now. And so, for example, I began a 40-day mantra sadhana, which is practicing a Sanskrit mantra of the goddess every single day for 40 days. And I started on the Gemini new moon because the new moon it's just a more auspicious time to begin a spiritual practice or set an intention. And this happens for us, those of us who are in our menstruating time, when we've just come off of our period and there's like this burst of energy that you get. And then as the moon begins to wax and spring is at her prime and in our cycle, we're at that approaching that ovulation phase. So this is when we have this sense of getting into the mother energy. And this is really about creativity and community, caring, sharing, expressing abundance, fruition, culmination, celebration, harvest. It's very abundant. Like imagine a big, beautiful, pregnant mama, and that would be Demeter, the Greek goddess, has been shown And there are many goddesses I can talk about, but just to keep it simple, I'll focus on the Greek trilogy for now, or Trinity for now. And so she is when we are, either at the full moon, if you want to sink in with that energy, or in summer, everything is just lush and prime and full and beautiful. And so then we get into, after the full moon, this waning energy, and it gets a little darker, and we get into fall, and now the goddess is beginning to retreat into the underworld. So it's a more introspective time. So this is our PMS phase, and I affectionately say that PMS should mean powerful magical sorceress.
Ooh, I love that.
Yes, because for me, that's when we get very hypersensitive, and if we don't know how powerful that energy is, it controls us instead of us being able to harness it. And what that energy is actually happening is you're a lot more psychic during this time. You're a lot more, your spiritual channels are opening, and you have a really strong no bullshit radar. Your truth radar is very, very strong. So whereas in your maybe maiden or ovulation time, you might let a boyfriend get away with being late to pick you up, or a friend who always calls and only talks about herself. But during that PMS phase, you're not going to have patience for that. Your kid's not cleaning up after themselves, or, your boss always giving you a hard time, whatever it is. That's that time where your inner crone is coming out. She's the wise woman. I also feel that she has that warrior energy. She's Hecate. Hecate is the witch. So again, in that Greek trinity, Hecate is the older woman, the wise woman, the crone. And there's been a most fear, I would say, around her. So even in our time right now, I would say the maiden is the most desired, right? She is the young, sexy girl. She's the fun one, carefree, beautiful. And then each one has a shadow, right? So the shadow with the maiden can be vanity or being self-absorbed, selfishness. And yet, like, this obsession with beauty and youth and female sexuality, our culture has been imbalanced towards that end, where it even actually puts on the pedestal not just the sacred maiden aspect, but even some of the shadow aspect, right? And so we can just look at Instagram, for example, to see how that comes out in all of us. And then second, I would say the mother energy is respected, but not as much. So this is the woman who is, putting her best in her service, her work, and in her family or her community. And these are like our very creative contribution years. The crone, however, is really badass, and she has come to a point now where she's free of those obligations. So we get to her in our late 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. She is now free of her obligation, like with children or career. So now she gets to actually honor herself. And a lot of times when women really have a spiritual awakening around menopause, I won't say it's a crisis, I'd say it's a spiritual awakening, like a midlife crisis, and we're not taught the tools to know that this is actually such an empowering time.
Yeah, it's a rite of passage, right?
Yes, exactly. But so the crone, we do tap into her if we're in our menstruating years, right before and during our periods. And she is teaching us what's true, when to set boundaries, how to say no, how to honor yourself, respect yourself, stand in your power. And just as your blood is shedding and the leaves are shedding and the moon is waning, it's shedding its light, we women have been connected to the cycle of Mother Earth and Mother Moon. And so she's saying, what do you need to shed? What do you need to release? So this is a time where we go within, we retreat, we reflect, we replenish, we take care of ourselves, we slow down, and then we review and refine and release everything that's not serving us. We keep the lessons, the love, and the growth, but we might know that when I come now out of this, I will have to refine some things in my life, maybe communicate my needs better, or pull back in this area, give more energy to this other thing that is my desire, I don't know if you can hear my little black cat agrees with me.
I can, yeah. Yes.
So we adopted her recently from a hoarding situation, and she's so sweet and magical, but She's still adjusting. So if she's adding her little magic, I hope that's okay.
Oh, that's beautiful. I was like, oh,
Black
sweet.
cats have been the partners of the wise woman,
Yeah,
right? So
absolutely.
like,
Perfect.
my goddess.
I want to be
So
heard.
so that's like just very, you know, in the nutshell, the essence of the three triple goddess energies. And I feel like when we know this, no matter what life phase we're in, no matter what our hormonal cycle is, we can begin to learn how to live in oneness with those cycles of the moon and the earth. And then our life just takes on this flow, right? Because imagine every new moon, you set your intentions for what you want to co-create and manifest. And then you work with that energy to take inspired, joyful action. The feminine does include taking action, but it comes from a place of inspiration and alignment. And then you bring something into fruition, you celebrate, you share with your community, your loved ones. And then towards, you know, at the full moon, and as it's waxing, then it's a time of reevaluating and reflecting and refining, so that in your next cycle, you're just constantly, you know, moving forward and flourishing.
I love that, you know, just allowing yourself to be in complete harmony, just to model what Mother Nature, Mother Earth is doing, you know, and
Yes.
so beautifully the way that you put that. And each stage of our life is a rite of passage. But then also I love that even in all those three stages, we still have all those energies within us. Just one
Exactly.
is heightened, you know.
Sure. Yes.
That's beautiful. So when it comes to that crone energy, I love it, because you're talking about, you know, it's just a time in your life you just got clear, and you're clear on your boundaries and who you are. What are, you know, are there specific rituals or anything that when women do go through menopause that you recommend that they do? And I also think, you know, when the maiden, you know, the young girl gets her menstrual cycle for the first time, that I think, you know, that's something that should be celebrated and a rite of passage. So are there any specific rituals that you suggest for the maiden when she steps into that rite of passage, and then also for the crone to come from that?
Absolutely. And actually, like, so the Nevada traditions over here have been celebrating this through what they call blessing ways. And when a girl gets her period, the whole community celebrates, and she has to actually go through all of these initiation rituals. And then motherhood is celebrated. So yes, other traditions have celebrated these incredible, I call them initiations. And I feel that whenever we add ritual to that, that's one of the greatest ways we connect with the goddess, because the goddess is embodied and she is to be experienced as part of her being expressed through nature. She's sensual. So we want to see, feel, hear, touch, taste the goddess and the feminine. And so when we, even as something as simple as lighting a candle with intention, right? If you're taking a bath and you say, when I light this candle, or I pour this sea salt or this essential oil in, or some flower petals in, this is my intention to connect with the maiden, to fill myself with the energy of beauty. So the maiden might want to find ways. Let's say you normally take a quick shower, you know, and you get out to get ready. If you want to connect with that maiden energy, how about making sure that your bath shower product, you know, the smell is something that lights you up, you know, that really feels sensual and beautiful to you. And then the clothes that you're wearing feel really good on your skin. And they really, you know, celebrate your body and your beauty as it is. As women, we're so hard on ourselves, and we're always, I feel, focusing on like how to, you know, hide our flaws. But how about we celebrate and accentuate the parts of us that we love, and even especially love those parts that maybe we're having a little, you know, resistance towards. Maiden Aphrodite, if we even look at Aphrodite's energy or her images, she's often very, you know, pear-shaped, soft belly, small breast, big thick hips. That is the goddess, right? And so many of us women can have a shape like that, or any other form, and, you know, we don't feel goddessy. And Aphrodite, it's like, imagine looking at yourself through the goddess's eyes, you know, and through the eyes of unconditional love and reverence, and seeing your divine beauty manifest in physical form, because you are the goddess embodied. in physical form.
Yeah.
So the maiden invites us to create rituals around beauty and pleasure and self-love and acceptance, and this can be very helpful with sensual things, with your essential oils or perfumes, or what you do when you touch your body, and even like your cup of coffee in the morning. Can you just, like my husband, he grinds his beans every morning and he makes it in his little Pilates. This lovely ritual that he goes through to have his coffee, and I love the smell of it. So, can you smell that coffee or things that you already maybe normally do, right? How can you add more of that maiden energy there, where you're really getting your senses in there? And then for the mother, this to me is a lot about receptivity, because I feel like us highly sensitive women, the kind of women that are attracted to this kind of work, we tend to be natural caregivers, and we tend to put everyone else usually before us. And so mothering is about mothering ourselves. How can you nurture yourself? Maybe this is making sure that, I'm feeding myself both with my nutrition, loving words, how I speak to myself, being compassionate towards myself, being kind, and just extending that maternal love back towards ourselves can be so, so healing. Other ways are just, making sure that you're prioritizing your sacred desires and goals. So if it's something creative, what do you want to create? Whether it's a business or a hobby or anything, dedicating that time to nurturing those dreams and your own sacred desires and your purpose. And then the crone energy is really about spiritual ritual. She loves magic. So this is where, maybe you smudge your home during the moon, like not when it's full, but the day after is when I like to, basically as soon as it's going to start shedding, or at the change of a season. Or if you have never smudged, it's beautiful to do a smudging ritual to honor the crone, because smudging, it really helps to release, negative, stuck, pent up energy, and it clears your space. You can smudge yourself. Sitting in meditation every day. And one of the most powerful ways to connect with the goddess, all the goddesses, especially the crone. For me, the crone embodies so much. It also embodies like the priestess energy, because she's the wise woman and the witch, the warrior. She's that independent, badass lady, So for her, she needs a space that's just her own, right? Because the maiden loves friends and lovers, and the mother loves family and community. But the crone is very comfortable with her own and needs her own space. And so what nook or corner can you carve out in your own bedroom or your own home that's private, that's just yours? And again, your altar can be very simple. You can just have a candle or a crystal, or an incense. You can add more things to it, but having a space where you can retreat to every day. I love to start my morning. I absolutely have to. It's necessary for me. I notice such a big difference from if I look at my phone versus if I get my butt to meditation right after the bathroom. Because and the phone these days, like, it's such a temptation, right? Because everything's there. The world is waiting, it feels like. So, but I just feel like even if I like it's positive, lovely things that I follow, for example, on Instagram, it's all motivational, happy stuff. I feel like now I'm in the world.
Yeah, I mean, it's all external. You really want to start the day going internal.
Exactly. And there's also something very mystical about that morning time when we're a little groggy. We're not fully here in this realm yet. Yeah. And as women, as witches, as wise women, we actually have a higher capacity to travel between realms.
Yeah. I love it. The veil is so thin at that hour.
The veil is very thin. And in fact, in many traditions, and the witching hour is known to be like 3 a.m. That's because at that time, the world is asleep and quiet, and the veils are between the worlds are very thin. So if you really want to connect with a crone, you can set an alarm and meditate at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
But, generally it's more practical for us to just those first few minutes to sit in meditation or prayer or ritual or journaling, but just sit and receive your dose of wisdom and divine support for the day.
I love that. Yeah, just go inwards, take that time, and no matter what hour it is, that's your veil. Like that's your time when because of that dreamscape, we're so connected, and then to just not be completely awake. I love that, and thank you for sharing very like simple things, like just bringing the sacredness into every day, whether it is making your coffee or having your shower or the way you eat your food or the way you smell, or just like bringing that sacredness into all that we do and are, because that's really ultimately what the goddess work is about, like presence, and everything can be magical. Just seeing a sunrise, a sunset, waking up, feeling the water in your skin, rain on your face, So thank you for sharing that. That's so beautiful.
Oh, my pleasure.
You and I had a little chat like before we kind of started, and you were saying, well, maybe you do a nice offering of like an embodiment kind of meditation for us.
Yes,
that would
I
be
would
amazing.
love to. So our ladies are feeling it. I would love to bring in the energy of the maiden mother crone so you can experience them within yourself. And I want to open this, no matter what your religious orientation is, just to remember that these goddesses are energies, they're archetypes. If you are open to connecting with them as deities, then you're welcome to do that. But make this yours. Just know that these are actually your own sacred powers and gifts inside of you. So that's really what you're connecting with. So if I'm saying, now the maiden goddess is here, if that doesn't resonate in terms of thinking of a deity, then to open to see that as a part of yourself. So I just want to put that out there, because I want to help everyone know that the goddesses are accessible to us all at the level that we are most comfortable.
That sounds amazing. Thank you.
My pleasure. All right. So are you ready? Should I get started?
Absolutely.
Okay, beloved sisters and brothers who are joining us, welcoming you to get prepared for this meditation and ensuring that it's safe for you to close your eyes. Gently closing your eyes and getting your body so comfortable. You can lie down, you can stay seated, you could take any meditative pose that you wish to. Just listen to and honor your body. No matter what has happened before this moment, this is your sacred time to let go and let Goddess support you fully. Focusing on your breath, your heart space, noticing the gentle rise and fall of your chest with every inhale and exhale. And as you connect even more deeply to your beautiful heart, seeing a light shining in the center of your chest. It gets brighter and brighter, and it fills your entire body with this divine, replenishing, healing, relaxing light that softens your entire body, lights up your mind, opening your mind to messages, to divine guidance and clarity. This light infuses your heart with receptivity, that you may feel the presence of the goddess within you. The light opens up your beautiful womb, no matter what state your womb is in right now. And if you're a brother joining us, then your sacral chakra, just below your belly, opening you up to receive the gifts of the goddess. This light now shines so brightly that it encompasses you in a sphere of light. And it begins to lift you up from where you are, above your home, floating up into the sky. You hover here for a moment, enjoying the peace and clarity. And then, as if you're being pulled up in a column of light, the bubble rises up, taking you higher and higher into the heavenly realms, into the realm of the goddess. It is so peaceful and beautiful, and you are safe and divinely guided. And the bubble knows exactly where to take you. And when it comes to a stop, you gently step outside and you find yourself in a beautiful, lush, fertile garden. There's a new moon in the sky. And from this garden now comes a beautiful maiden goddess. She is from all times and all cultures. She can look however she looks to you. She is radiant, the embodiment of beauty, sensuality, love, joy, fertility, laughter, inspiration, focus, and clarity. And she welcomes you and holds your hands and embraces you, saying, "Welcome, sister." And she asks you where you have been struggling in connecting with her essence within yourself. Any blockages that you have had around inspiration, fertility, pleasure, joy, friendship, love. Go ahead and share, my love. And she now opens up your mind, waving her hands above your third eye, the center of your forehead, aligning it with the beautiful mystical light of the new moon. Your third eye begins to shine, the silvery indigo light. And you see now there's this beautiful river with flowers floating on it, and all around you is so much beauty. It begins to inspire you to awaken that spark inside of you. She even takes you into the sacred river and she bathes you herself, and she says these are the holy waters of the maiden goddess, the sacral chakra. She's cleansing and purifying your womb and opening you to allow yourself to receive love, intimacy, pleasure, joy, bliss, to be a channel of creativity and radiance, to take inspired action on your inspired guidance that you receive, and you allow yourself to align with your soul's vision for you. She opens you to sensuality, sacred sexuality, sacred union, play, fun, and relishing in the pleasures of life. You come out and she adorns you in a beautiful gown and jewels, anointing you with oils, feeding you luscious fruits. You drink champagne and you dance together and laugh and play. And she now gives you 3 beautiful seeds, potent, fertile seeds, and asks that you set intentions, make wishes. She says, be ridiculous. Because she's saying that your greatest dreams, there's so much more that divine wants for you. So she's saying, we can do this. And as you say your wishes on these seeds, you throw them into the fertile earth. Now from the earth emerges the earth mother goddess, pregnant, full-bellied, mama, full-breasted, her breast overflowing with milk. And she has a basket of bounty for you. She is the embodiment of this mother goddess who's been shown in so many cultures and so many times. Goddess of abundance and love and creativity and success and purpose and service and community. And she asks, where have you had any blockages in this area, my daughter? And go ahead and share any struggles, my love. And so this mother goddess, she makes a healing balm for you and rubs it on your chest, on your heart, which heals your heart through and through, bringing you grace, compassion, forgiveness, receptivity, self-love, saying yes and thank you. She makes you the most beautiful meal and feeds you with her own hands, nourishing you, nourishing your very soul. She gives you a drink of milk and honey and cinnamon, and it can be almond or coconut or other milk. She knows what you need. But this is the sacred milk of the mother. And as you drink it, it fills you with self-love and nurturing and healing. And she brings to you this blessing, this bounty, gold and fruits and flowers and grains and support and jewels, reminding you of your essential nature as a source of all abundance. And feeling so radiant and full and powerful, you thank her. You look up and see that the moon has been full. That's why there's been more light. And as the maiden and the mother goddesses stand with you, they now walk with you into a forest. It's getting a little darker, and maybe you're a little afraid of facing this part of yourself, this most powerful part of yourself. In the midst of the forest, there's a bonfire, and the light of the moon has completely waned. And here you meet a cloaked older woman, the wise woman, the crone goddess, with her wisdom of the witches, of the midwives, of the healers, her sight, the sight of the seers and the oracles, and the gifts of the priestesses. And she is filled with power, the power of the warrioress. And she asks, my dear, where have you not been true to yourself? Where do you need to be more in your power? And you share with her any struggles with setting boundaries, living from your divine self-worth, saying no, or even connecting to your spirituality. And she asks that you now yell and scream and shake them out as you circle around her bonfire together, shaking out this energy, this sacred rage from inside of you, screaming it out, grieving it out, letting it all out. And as you're shaking it out, its energy is being thrown into the fire where it is instantly transmuted. Keep going, sister. And when it's all out, you begin to settle and stand. And the crone goddess comes to you. She places her hand on your forehead, awakening your intuition, your deep inner wisdom. And she places the other hand on your heart, awakening the wisdom of your heart. And she says, what does your soul have to say? What is the truth? What is your divine message in these areas? What is true? And she takes some of her magical fire and ignites your solar plexus chakra inside of your belly, which now looks like a radiant sun. She has transmuted any blocks to you being in your power and helped you to now own your divine power, that you may stand your ground and persevere, honor, respect, and value yourself, and in turn be honored, respected, and valued in the world. And if there are any situations that you need to release, that you are done with, that are complete, you can also surrender them to the sacred fire. And you keep in your heart and mind and being only the wisdom, the lessons, and the growth that they brought you. All three goddesses now stand with you as you stand around this fire holding hands, 4 beautiful goddesses. And now they all come to you. They hug you. They ask if you have any other messages for them that you want their help with, or any guidance that you wish from them. And trust that they have received your request and will support you with it fully. And they are here to guide, support, and empower you in every way. The 3 goddesses now bring you to that garden again, and you see that those seeds that you had planted are now flourishing. They're so beautiful. You're all celebrating. You are worthy of your dreams, for you yourself are every goddess embodied. The goddesses now merge with you, and they will rise through you as you need them to, in perfect, sacred harmony for your greatest good. And now entering that bubble of light again, as it floats through the inner realm of the goddess. You notice as you're leaving that there's a new moon again, and you smile as you come back now through the inner realms, hovering in our sky for a moment, and then allowing Mother Earth to pull you back with her gravity and her love, coming all the way back to where you are. Take a moment, if you've been lying down, to gently come up to sitting. And when you're sitting, take your hands making a heart shape on your yoni, on your belly, in your lower belly. Rub your hands up over your breasts, giving them some love. And press your palms together, bring them over your third eye, your forehead. Take a deep breath in. Bring your palms down in front of your heart, bowing down to yourself and the goddess that you are. And slowly and gently opening your eyes, beloved. How are we doing?
Oh, dear sister goddess, that was divine. Oh my goodness. I went on that beautiful journey. Thank you. That was so beautiful.
I'm so honored and so happy. I always enjoy this stuff.
Oh yeah.
So it's such a journey for me to go on, and I feel so honored to just be connected to the goddesses and share them with my sisters.
Well, thank you. That was just a bliss, and I went so deep. So thank you. That was a beautiful for me. Like,
which goddess did you connect most with? I'm curious.
I really felt all 3 gave exactly what was needed. You know, they all came with their own magic and gifts. So
Yes.
I don't know if there really wasn't one. They all were so rich and deep and meaningful. So
Oh,
thank you.
beautiful. Oh,
That
I'm
was
so happy to hear
amazing.
that.
Yeah. And I have so many other questions I would love to ask, but just the last one is in this moment, because you do and give so much, how may we, all of us listening, be of service to you?
Oh, you're so kind for asking, sister. Thank you so much. I just welcome sisters into the Flourishing Goddess Sisterhood, the community. That's my, my website. And so through that, as you know, I love to share a lot of free resources. It's my mission to empower you. I think 80% of what I share is free. And so, as you know, the videos on YouTube, if you look up Flourishing Goddess, and if you're looking really to go on a goddess journey, I would say a great sort of step-by-step path would be my book, Goddess Reclaimed, 13 Initiations to Unleash your Sacred Feminine Power. But yeah, just immersing yourself in the goddess. And if my tools resonate with you, I would just love for them to, explore them. I have a lot of free gifts and trainings that I only give to my newsletter members. So if they want to come on over to flourishinggoddess.com, they'll get so many resources and gifts. So
That's amazing.
love to shower them
Yes. Oh, thank
with
you.
some goddess love.
So Goddess Reclaimed, and you also have another wonderful book at Manifest.
Oh, that's Manifest Soulmate Love, because a lot of my ladies want to manifest their soulmate. So that was a book that they found very helpful as well.
Oh, well.
But I would have to say I'm biased towards Goddess Reclaimed.
Okay. Well,
I feel like the thing is, when we manifest soulmate love is there for a very specific intention. But with the goddess journey, when you become a goddess, you manifest everything, not just love. So
yeah, absolutely.
That's why I think the goddess stuff is more powerful for us, because it's just more holistic.
Yeah, and that is our goddess birthright. So, dear sister, my heart is so full, and I am so grateful, and I'm just sending you so much love, and I'm so happy to connect.
I'm sending you so much love, and I also want to say I'm feeling so much the energy of Bridget around you.
Oh yeah, she's
very strong.
Yeah, as we call her over here, Bree. She's my so you are so spot on.
She's just shining her light all around you.
Well, thank you. This was just amazing.
Oh, well, it was my pleasure to connect with you. My heart is overflowing with so much love. And, this is also the goddess. It's women connecting with women to empower and support other women, celebrating each other, supporting each other. This is the goddess. So it's such an honor to experience this together and to show in the world how the feminine can create a happy world where we all just love and support each other.
Absolutely, and raise each other up. So thank you once again. Much love.
Thank you so much.
You.
Want to learn about the ancient art of feng shui, or deepen your knowledge and continue your education? Join us at the Inner Circle of Feng Shui community. By becoming a member, you'll access my extensive library of webinars, videos, and tutorials on classical feng shui, space clearing, dowsing, and so much more. There are 2 live webinars per month, as well as meditations and rituals for the seasons. For more information, please go to www.innercircleoffengshui.com. And another thing, please feel free to reach out to me and tell me who else you'd like me to interview on this show. Now, Syma and I would love to hear from you. What are some of your daily or moon ceremonies and rituals and practices that you implement in your own life to stay connected with your own inner goddess? Remembering that by you sharing might be just what somebody else needs to hear to connect with their own inner goddess. Thanks, beloveds, for joining us today. Please come over to themandacons.com to continue the conversation and get access to all my podcasts, blogs, and videos. Did you enjoy this podcast? If so, please subscribe to the Amanda Cons podcast on iTunes and leave us a 5-star review. Feel free to pass this podcast on to your friends. That helps us get incredible incredible guests to share their secrets for an inspired and joyful life. If you want more great resources, come over to amandacollins.com and join my mailing list for all my latest content. Thanks so much for listening. Until next time, I'm sending love